How's it going? This is Elliot with Champ Camp, checking in. Today I was thinking about doing a little video about one of my favorite things to do, juggling. Juggling is a really cool thing that you can use to improve your hand-eye coordination. So with hand-eye coordination, basically what we're trying to do is to think about the relationship between things that are in our hands and keeping our eye on them while they're in motion. I would say that something like baseball is a great sport to really help you develop your hand-eye coordination. Even though I never really played much baseball myself, I found that juggling was a good tool to kind of help me learn how to focus on more than one thing at the same time. That's another important thing to think about juggling, is that it teaches you to think ahead while still kind of being in the moment. A lot of times, sometimes, adults might say that they're struggling to juggle the things that life is handing them. Maybe by learning how to actually juggle like this, it might be able to help us out with some of these bigger problems that we might face in our day-to-day lives. Now, the first thing that I want to tell you guys about is the number one rule. The number one rule with juggling is to not be afraid to drop the ball. If you drop the ball, that's totally fine. You need to remember that when we're learning something new, it can be really frustrating. So remember to be easy on yourself. Don't be so hard on yourself if it doesn't come naturally at first. I've been doing this for years, so it's one of those things that I put a lot of practice into. But since we're all starting from scratch, remember just to take it easy, and most importantly, let's have some fun with it. So the first thing I want to do is really kind of just start off with one ball. So basically, in a way of getting comfortable with having a ball in our hands, just kind of practice throwing it back and forth. You can even throw it to the same hand a couple times. I myself am right-handed, so for me, having the ball in my right hand feels more natural than it does in my left hand. But that's just me. Like I said, the more you practice juggling and just get used to tossing the ball around, you'll see that you'll start to get more comfortable with your less dominant hand. So let's take a little bit of time just to practice with one ball, just getting used to that. And remember, if you do drop it, it's not the end of the world. I think also, if you have the space, you can think about trying to throw the ball a little bit higher if you'd like. It's totally up to personal preference, but if you throw the ball a little bit higher, when we incorporate the second ball or maybe even the third ball, you'll have more time to think and react. But like I said, if you want to keep it low, you can keep it low. If you guys are paying attention, you'll see that I have both my hands palm sides up, and I'm kind of resting them about my rib cage, not kind of above my hips, just right there, cozy next to my ribs. I would say that's a good place to have your hands. The other thing you want to remember too is when we're throwing the ball, we want to kind of throw it a teeny bit towards ourselves. Not like we're going to throw it over our shoulder, but you want to have a little bit of an angle towards yourself, because that way it's very easy to start to want to move forward when we're juggling, because sometimes we might throw the ball a little bit forward. Just try to throw it kind of straight up, but almost towards yourself a little bit. That would be the best technique. After we're more comfortable with one ball, we can think about incorporating that second ball in. Maybe what you can do is to kind of just throw one at a time like this, just kind of throwing one in each hand. You can call this one A, this will be ball A, and this one's ball B. They're kind of different colors. So I got ball A and ball B. They're both staying in their own hand, as you can see. Once you get comfortable with that, we can start thinking about trying to throw ball A up into the air, and then what we can also do is taking ball B and moving it into our other hand like that. So you would kind of create this circular motion. This technique is perfect for just getting used to having that second ball in the mix, in the rotation. You can think about it as a nice kind of circular motion if you want. As you can see, I'm throwing one and then passing the other one to the opposite hand. And you can see that the balls are just constantly in motion. I'm not holding on to one of them very long. I just keep it moving. So try this for a couple minutes. Going the other way kind of makes your brain think the opposite. You can see, got the circular motion. After we get comfortable with this, we're going to move on to the next sort of step, which is learning how to like stagger your throws. So like I said, this one was ball A and this one was ball B. What we're going to really start to figure out next is throwing, let's say, one ball, so ball A, we're going to throw it up and it's going to land in my opposite hand. And as it's coming down, I'm going to throw ball B up, which will come into this hand. So the balls are going to change hands if you notice. The balls are thrown at staggered times. So I'll throw one, then the other. As you can see, the balls are changing hands. So A goes to this hand, B goes to this hand. This is the key to juggling. Once you can get used to staggering the throws like this, then when you want to introduce that third ball, it'll make a little bit more sense. When you're starting out, throwing three balls at the same time seems really confusing and difficult to wrap your head around. But once you really master the idea of doing two, staggering the throws, then it'll become a lot easier. So you want to think of it as kind of like a 1-2, right? 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. So try this one. This is a really tough one to get. Once you get this down, it's going to get a lot easier. I know some people that are able to pick this up in minutes. Some people it might take a couple days. Everyone's different. Everyone learns at a different rate. So like I said, don't get down on yourself if it's tough, but this is going to be the key, that 1-2 sort of motion. The other thing you can do, if it's really difficult, don't even think about trying to catch it. Just try throwing one and then throwing the other, and just get used to having the balls kind of in the air at the same time. So you go 1-2. Well, that one I did try to catch, but I'll let them fall this time. Watch. 1-2. You can kind of see that if I throw one and then the other, I get kind of used to having the balls kind of change. So yeah, if you want to try dropping them, try doing that. That might help a little bit too. Staggering is the key. So just try to get 1-2. Don't think so much about keeping it going. At first, just try to do it kind of once. As in like one throw and then another throw. Don't worry about going and trying to keep it going. You can start to get towards that point eventually, but for right now, just practice doing the 1-2, 1-2. And then as you become more confident, you can kind of start to just do it a little bit faster, which looks like more like juggling. And once we get comfortable with that, that is the time that we can incorporate the third ball. So when we incorporate the third ball, it's basically the same thing as doing 1-2, except we have that third ball which starts us off. You want to remember that you're going to throw from the hand that has two balls in it first. So you'll throw one, and you switch right into the rhythm of it. The thing about juggling three is that it kind of starts to go on its own. Once you're working on that 1-2 technique with two balls, that is going to be the hardest part. Once you kind of start it off, as you can see, your hands are always in motion. You're always keeping the ball in the air, at least one in the air. You basically have two in the air at the same time. And like I said, it takes a little while to get to that third ball, but once you get really comfortable with the two, you'll find that that third ball is a lot easier to incorporate. I myself, I'm trying to start working on doing a 4-ball rotation, which takes a little bit more work, and it's a really fast sort of pace. It's something that I'm working on, but for right now, I'm really happy just working on the 3. It's a great way to pass the time when I'm at home, and it's a fun one. It's a cool thing that you can show your friends. I'm sure you'll impress anyone at a birthday party. Basically, in recapping, just remember to take your time with it, be patient, go easy on yourself. You're going to drop the ball, but that's how we learn. When we drop the ball, you'll learn from your mistakes. Don't feel rushed, and just have fun with it. Remember, during these trying times, to keep washing your hands. If you're going to leave your house, You're going to want to wear a mask if you're in any public places. And most importantly, remember to be nice to mom and dad. Be nice to your siblings. It's really tough to be confined into a house altogether. So be patient with each other, and just remember that this time will pass. We just got to remember to be optimistic about the future, and that one day everything will hopefully be a new and better reality than we had before. And in closing, if you do get down some nice juggling skills, feel free to send them over to us. We'd love to see it. So you can send it to us through Facebook or through Instagram. We'd love to see the progress that you guys are making out there. So keep it up, and we'll see you next time.